using formulas. You can enter a formula either in a cell in the formula bar. To enter a formula in a cell, select the cell and enter the formula. To enter formula into the formula bar, click in it and enter the formula. When you finish entering the formula and click tick or press enter, the cell will show the formula result and not the formula. However, you see the formula in the formula bar when the cell is selected. To understand how a formula can be entered in the formula bar, let us calculate the sum of the numbers in cell B2, C2 and D2 as shown in the steps below. Step 1. Click the cell in which you want to put the formula, which is E2 in this case. The cell reference E2 appears in the name box. Step 2. Type the equal to sign. You can type it either in the cell or in the formula bar. What you type will appear in both the places automatically. Step 3. Continue typing B2 plus C2 plus D2 as shown. Notice the different color borders that appear around the mentioned cells. Step 4. Click tick or press enter. Cell E2 will display the formula result. This will change automatically if you change data in cells B2, C2 or D2. Using mouse to add a cell reference. To add a cell reference to a formula, you can click on the cell instead of typing the cell address. This method is called pointing. After typing equal to, do not type B2. Click on cell B2 instead. A moving dashed border called a marquee appears around B2. The status bar will display a status of point. Now type plus and click on cell C2. Then type plus and click on cell D2. Cell E2 will now have the same formula as shown in the above screenshots. Press enter to see the value. Relative, absolute and mixed cell references. When you use a cell reference or a range in a formula, you can use three types of cell references: relative cell reference, absolute cell reference and mixed cell reference. Relative cell reference. The row and column references can change when you copy the formula to another cell. By default, Excel creates relative cell references in a formula. For example, A1, B5, D4, etc. 1. Consider the worksheet given below to find the interest amount using the formula principal amount into rate of interest into time in years. Second, select cell D2 when you take the cursor to its right corner. Autofill handle appears. Using the autofill handle, drag it to cell D5. Third, release the mouse button. The calculated value will appear. Fourth, select cell D4 and D5 and notice the formula in the formula bar. The formula in cells D2 to D5 is the product of the three cell values to their left. When you copy a formula from one cell to another, the reference also changes. This is because the formula uses relative referencing. It is useful if you want to add the row data for each row using the same formula. Absolute cell reference. When the reference is to a fixed cell, the row and the column references do not change while you copy a formula. It uses two dollar signs in the reference, one for the column letter and other for the row number. For example, $A, $1, $D, $5 and $B, $7. First, consider the same worksheet used earlier. The formula entered in cell C3 is A3 multiplied by B3 multiplied by $D, $1. Select cell C3 and using the autofill handle, drag it to cell C6. Second, when you copy the formula to cell C4, it becomes is equal to A4 multiplied by B4 multiplied by $D, $1. A part of the formula is relative, A4 multiplied by B4, while another part is absolute, $D, $1. Whenever you copy the formula, only the relative part changes and the absolute part remains the same. Now, Can you guess the formula that would be copied to cell C5? Yes, it would be A5 multiplied by B5 multiplied by $D $1. Mixed cell reference. Mixed cell reference is a combination of relative and absolute cell references. The row or column reference is relative while the other is absolute. For example, $A1 or $1. Consider the worksheet given alongside. It calculates the area of a rectangle for various lengths and breadths. The formula in cell C3 is $B3 multiplied by $2. Copy the formula to the cell range C3 colon F6. Both the cell references are mixed. The reference to cell B3 uses an absolute reference for the column $B, and the reference to cell C2 uses an absolute reference for the row $2. You can view the formulas copied to the cell range C3 colon F6. Click the Formulas tab. In the Formula Auditing group, click the Show Formulas button. The formula used in each of the cells of the range will now be shown in the cells. Note: the type of cell reference is important only if you copy the formula to other cells. Besides these cell references, there is one more reference. This reference is known as circular reference. Let us study about it.